up, you guys? My name is Aubrey and this is my channel, and today I want to talk about side gigs, and I want to be breaking down the top 10 side gigs that you can pursue if you want to make over $10 per hour. In most cases, and in most of these examples, I'm going to be laying out side gigs that can make you more than that, closer to like the $20 to $30 per hour range. All of the side gigs that I'll be talking about today are ones that you can start immediately. They are ones that you do not need a degree or any sort of background information in order to get started, and they are ones that you can get started with relatively low, if not no, upfront investment. So let's get started. One of the best things about the internet is the fact that the internet has allowed us to make money in so many different ways. Not only the internet, but also the smartphone. The fact is, you can make money doing almost anything, and apps, the gig economy, and the internet is a big reason for that. Now, you guys know me, and you guys know that I am such a huge proponent of the gig economy. I'm a firm believer that taking part in the gig economy in a consistent way can be a deal breaker in making you financially independent or potentially getting you out of a financial hole. I think that it is one of the best ways, if not the best way, to get ahead financially if you're somebody who has been struggling. In fact, this is exactly the strategy that I used in order to get out of a financial hole in 2018, which has ultimately led me to where I am today, where I'm making over $20,000 per month. So though none of the side gigs that I'll be talking about today are ones that are independently going to make you rich, but they can all help you get to the end goal, which is to become financially successful. So with that, let's dig into the very first side gig, which is delivering for Amazon. Now, for those of you who don't know, the way that your packages oftentimes get delivered to you when you order through Amazon is by an Amazon Flex driver. Amazon Flex is kind of a gig economy platform that Amazon offers, and it's a way that normal people can use their cars to deliver packages from Amazon. Now, the thing that's really cool about Amazon Flex is it's a good way to make money from Amazon without actually having to work for Amazon and work in their warehouse. Instead, you can just kind of work on your own, driving by yourself, delivering packages. Now, a while back, I made a standalone video about Amazon Flex. I will include a link to that down in the description below. And in that video, I break down exactly the details of this program and how exactly you can get started. But what's important to note in this video is the average per hour pay, which is $16 per hour. Now, one of the ways that Amazon Flex works is you can book your times in blocks. So you would earn money based on the hours that you work in each block. And through booking your blocks, you can book blocks every day, you can do it every week, you can do it however often you'd like to. And you can earn money by delivering the packages. Now, when it comes to Amazon, it is important to note that this side hustle isn't available everywhere because of the fact that Amazon Flex isn't a service that is offered in every single state. Particularly rural areas do not have this type of side gigs because there simply isn't a need. But if you live in a larger city or a larger metroplex, for example, like DFW, then you could absolutely take part in this side hustle. Again, if you're interested to learn how to get started, I will include a link down in the description below. Number 2 is a copywriter. Now, this is something that I often encounter in my professional career because I am a horrible writer and I oftentimes need a copywriter to do writing for me. Now, whenever you're looking at an advertisement or a website or really anything with written word on it, more often than not, at least in a professional setting, somebody who is a copywriter wrote that text. Now, let me give you guys an example. One of the side gigs that I took part in for a very long time, and I still do on a one-off basis today in 2021, is building websites. People will pay me to build a website out for them. And though I can go in and I can build out the infrastructure for the site, I can place everything where it needs to go, what I really fall short on is actually writing the content for that site. Writing content that is easy to understand, that is persuasive, that gets to the end goal, and that makes the buyer or the customer do what we want them to do. This is where copywriters come in. Copywriters basically write content for businesses, for people, for entrepreneurs, anybody who needs professional content written for them. It can be for advertisements, it can be for websites, it can be for product listings, it can be for anything. Now, when it comes to copywriting, it's not as simple as just being a good writer. You typically have to be a very good persuasive writer because the ultimate point of copy is to persuade somebody in doing something that you want them to do, whether it be buy a product, sign up for a service, whatever the case is. When it comes to copywriting, it's important to understand and to really learn the art of persuasive writing. And there are a lot of books and a lot of online resources that can help you do that. Copywriting is a learned skill, and it certainly isn't something that is good for everybody. But if you're somebody who enjoys writing, and if you're kind of already a artistic focused and writing focused person, copywriting can be an excellent side gig to take part in. And if you're good at it, you can make way more than $30 per hour. Number 3 is TaskRabbit. This is much less skill oriented than copywriting copywriting, but it's also much more labor intensive. And because of that, this isn't something that everybody would enjoy. But basically what TaskRabbit is it is a gig app that connects you with people that need tasks completed. These tasks can range all over the place, from grabbing groceries to fixing a hole in a wall to picking up poop in your backyard to so much more. The tasks are very literally limitless. And whenever it comes to TaskRabbit, you can expect to earn between $20 and $100 per task. The way that TaskRabbit works is people will submit a task, you can then try to complete that task, and then you'll get paid on a per task basis. So basically, the quicker you can complete tasks, the better. Now, the thing I like about TaskRabbit is the fact that it's paid on a per task basis. I love side gigs that do that because of the fact that it motivates you to work faster and more efficiently. And that means that you could potentially earn a couple $100s per hour if you can complete tasks quick enough. And at the very least, you could earn $20, $40, $50 per hour if you get enough tasks in a single hour. The other thing about TaskRabbit is it's not something that is super mainstream in every single state and city. But if it's not mainstream in your state and in your city, there might be alternatives that you can turn to that are a little bit more mainstream. But regardless, if you're somebody that likes to stay active, if you like to complete physical tasks, if you don't like to sit in a car all day or at a desk all day, then this is a great side gig for you. Number 4 is a seasonal side gig, and we are right around the corner to the perfect time to take part in this side gig, and that is landscaping and mowing. Now, lawn mowing is a great side gig because of the fact that this is something that will never go away. There will always be a need for somebody to mow other people's lawns. And if you're somebody who likes being outside, if you like lawn work and yard work, then this is the perfect side gig for you. And it also can be scaled, and it can also be very high paying. The fact is, you can charge on a per lawn basis, which means you could charge $20 for a front yard, $20 for a backyard, and then you can just really work hard to get that done as quickly as possible, and then you can move on to the next yard, and then the next one, and then the next one. This is a really great side gig if you're somebody who can move quickly and efficiently. And in addition to the fact that this is something that can ultimately pay you a lot of money, it's also something that can be scalable. Once you start gaining a clientele, you can start hiring other people to help you mow the lawn. You can start a full-fledged business around your landscaping and lawn mowing business, and you can even start venturing out into other services as well, including pool cleaning, including leaf cleanup in the fall, or Christmas lights hanging in the winter. There are so many different options that you can pursue with this type of side gig. I love side gigs that have some sort of scalability to them, and I think that lawn mowing is a perfect example of this. Number 5 is a virtual assistant, otherwise known as a VA. Now, this is just an assistant for somebody in a virtual space. And if you want to get started as a virtual assistant, you can do so by checking out platforms like Freelancer, Fiverr, or Upwork. Upwork is probably the one I recommend most. When it comes to assistants, I feel like so often when we hear that word, we think of like a company that hires an executive assistant for the CEO, or somebody who works the front desk of a office, kind of like Pam Halpert.
Ah, this is our receptionist, Pam. Pam! Pam! Pam!
But the fact is, there are a lot of different types of assistants. And when it comes to a virtual assistant, there are a lot of different options you can pursue. Now, when it comes to a VA, the great thing is that it is almost always entirely remote, meaning you can work from the comfort of your home. Also, it's easy to do this as a side gig, meaning you can be a VA in addition to your regular 9-to-5, or even in addition to other side gigs that you're pursuing. Number 3 is, depending on what type of job you go with and what type of company you're a VA for, you could get paid anywhere between 20, 30, sometimes way more than that. So this really is one of those jobs that if you're good at what you do, you can get promoted and you can continue to get pay raise after pay raise to the point where you're making close to 6 figures. Now, this side gig is probably the closest side gig that's to like a traditional 9-to-5. When it comes to a VA, there are part-time positions available. In fact, there's a lot of them available, but there's also a lot of 9-to-5s available as well. And so if you're somebody who is maybe looking for something that's more similar to a 9-to-5 rather than a gig job, this could be a perfect route for you. Number 6 is a transcriptor. Now, a transcriptor is somebody that listens to an audio file and then they type out that audio file into a written format. Now, when it comes to transcribing, there is so many different jobs out there available. You can look at Upwork, Fiverr, or Freelancer. Once again, I recommend checking out Upwork, but you can check out either of those 3 and find a ton of job opportunities. So similarly to like mowing lawns or TaskRabbit, the pay structure for transcription services isn't quite the norm. So instead of getting paid on an hourly rate, you instead get paid per audio file hour. So let's say, for example, you get sent a 1-hour audio file. You will get paid for that 1-hour file, even if it takes you an hour and a half or 45 minutes to transcribe that file. Another example is if you got sent a 10-hour audio file, you would get paid for 10 hours worth of work because that is the length of that file. And regardless of how long it takes you to transcribe that file, you will only get paid 10 hours worth. Now, this could be a burden or it could be a blessing, depending on how quickly you type. If you type really, really fast, you could potentially get that 10 hours worth of audio transcribed in 5 hours or 7 hours. But alternatively, if you type really, really slow, you may take 12 or 15 hours to transcribe that audio, which means that your pay per hour is going down. So this is definitely one of those side hustles that is better for people who are good at typing, or at least like typing and like sitting at a desk. Because if you take part in this side gig, you will undoubtedly have to sit down for long periods of time and you will be typing for long periods of time. But the great thing about this side hustle is the fact that you don't have to invest anything to get started, and you can get started really easily by going to Upwork and by searching transcription jobs and then applying for those there. Number 7 is doing services like DoorDash, Grubhub, or Uber Eats. Now, this is one that I've talked about a ton on the channel, so I'll just touch on it now. But the fact is, you can still make a ton of money doing this type of side hustle, especially if you live in a large city. To give you guys an example, I know of somebody personally who does Grubhub, Uber Eats, and DoorDash 2 days a week in the evening. They specifically time their schedule to be able to do this during the hottest hours of food delivery. They do it twice a week, and every single week they make about $250 to $500 per week. That is in some cases over $50 per hour because they only dedicate between 4 and 5 hours 2 days a week to this, which means they're averaging less than 10 hours per week. I love this side hustle because of the fact that I'm a firm believer that Uber and Lyft isn't for everybody. I personally wouldn't want to drive people around. I don't like people enough to do that, and I don't really have an interest in small talking with people as I drive them to their destination. But food delivery services is a different animal because of the fact that you don't have to have anybody in your car. You don't have to greet anybody. You don't have to talk to anybody. You simply pick up the food. You can then listen to music on your way to the destination, and then you deliver the food and you're good to go. Similarly to other side hustles we've mentioned, the other reason why I love food delivery is because of the fact it rewards you for efficiency. It rewards you for being able to deliver the food quickly. This is because if you deliver the food quickly, then the quicker you can go on to the next delivery order. And then the quicker you do that one, the quicker you can move on to the next one. This means, like I said, you could potentially be making $50 per hour delivering food. Now, like so many of the side hustles I talk about on this channel, I don't think that this is a good 9 to 5. I think that there are specific areas and specific times where this side hustle reigns supreme. But the fact is, you're probably not going to be making a lot of money through this side hustle if you're doing it on Mondays from 7 a.m. until 10 a.m. You really do have to cater your schedule to be able to be available to deliver food during those hot periods of times. So Friday evenings, Saturday evenings, maybe even evenings during the week. But if you're able to do that, then you can absolutely make bank delivering through these services. The 8th side gig that I want to talk about is one that, again, I've talked about so many times on this channel, so because of that, I'll just touch on it here. But that is car sharing. Now, you guys know I cannot create a list like this and not include car sharing because of the fact that car sharing is like my bread and butter of the gig economy. I have revolved my life around car sharing for the last few years, and I'm sure that's not going to change anytime soon. The fact is, we do not need our cars 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. There are a lot of times whenever your personal car is not being used, and it is a great idea to rent out that personal car on Turo in order to make extra money. Now, if you've seen my videos before, you know that I have a multi-car Turo fleet, and I'm a huge advocate on using Turo as a way to create a semi-passive income stream. I'm also not a firm believer in renting out your personal car on Turo, but I do think that this is a great way to get your feet wet into the Turo platform and to learn if this is a good business model for you. You can rent your car on Turo when you don't need it. You can use the money that your car makes in order to buy a cheaper car that you can then rent on Turo and make more money from it, renting it out full time. The fact is, using a business model like Turo or even other options like HireCar or GetAround, it's a great way to create a real business stream, a real income stream that you don't have to dedicate a whole lot of time to. When it comes to a Turo fleet, depending on what type of car you have, what your settings are set at, how often the car is being rented at, and the price of the car, you can make anywhere between a couple $100s per month to tens of thousands of dollars per month if you have a large Turo fleet. Now, if you're interested in learning how I created my Turo fleet and how you can do the same thing, then I do have a car sharing course. You can use the code YouTube for $25 off. I will have a link to that down in the description below. Number 9 is freelancing. Now, for those of you who don't know what freelancing is whenever you do contract work for companies or people that need that contract work completed. With freelancing, there are an endless amount of opportunities of jobs that you can complete through the freelancing marketplace. From artistic endeavors like photography, graphic design, videography, by doing more mathematical and analytical stuff like Excel spreadsheets, like accounting. In fact, there are even freelancing lawyers out there. The opportunities are literally limitless. When it comes to freelancing, the amount that you can expect to earn will be highly dictated by what you are specializing in. A freelancing lawyer will make more than a freelancing virtual assistant, and a freelancing virtual assistant will make more than like a transcriptionist. It depends on what you are specializing in and what your skill is. But the fact is, you can market almost any skill in the freelancing marketplace. You can get started with freelancing really easily, and there's essentially no lead time to get started. So you could theoretically sign up for a freelancing website today and then start earning money tomorrow or even today. Freelancing is a really great way to make money as a side gig that can then pivot into a real career. For example, you can start freelancing as a digital marketer, and then you can use the skills that you learned in digital marketing freelancing to then spin off and start a digital marketing firm. Really, the opportunities are truly limitless, and I love side gigs that provide you with a real career path moving forward, and I think freelancing is one of the best examples of this. If you want to check out how you can get started with freelancing, you can look at sites like Upwork, Freelancer, or Fiverr. I've also done a ton of videos on this topic as well, so I will include a playlist down in the description below. Number 10 is pet sitting. Now, I have 2 dogs. I have a pit bull named Scout, and I have a lab mix named Nico. And I know that whenever I go to town, the big dilemma that I always have is who's gonna watch my dogs. It's always a huge issue that always stresses me out beyond belief anytime I have to go out of town. And more often than not, I end up spending a lot of money to have a trustworthy person come to my house, stay at my house to watch my dogs. Now, the fact is, when it comes to going on vacation as a pet owner, you have a lot of options available to you. You can take your dog to a boarding facility, you can have just a dog walker come to your house and watch the dogs, or you can hire a full-fledged pet sitter. And I think more often than not, if the budget will allow it, people will opt for a full-fledged pet sitter. Somebody that will stay with the pet, watch the pet, and actually spend the night with them, rather than just checking in on them periodically throughout the day. This is because of the fact that if a dog goes to a boarding facility or has to stay with an unfamiliar person at an unfamiliar house, there's a lot of anxiety associated with that. And pet owners will pay a lot of money to be able to keep their pets comfortable. Again, I know I've done it dozens of times. That's where you can come in. Being a trustworthy, accountable, and pet-loving person, you can capitalize on the fact that pet owners everywhere want somebody trustworthy to watch their pet when they're out of town. And nowadays, there are so many platforms out there that can help facilitate this transaction. For example, you could go the app-based direction and go with a platform like Rover, which can help connect you with people who need their pets watched, or you can even go a web-based platform like care.com, which can connect you with people who need their pets watched or their houses watched. Now, the amount of money that you can make from this type of side gig will depend on how many pets you're watching and how long you're watching them for. But in my experience, and also by doing research for this video, I found out that it's not totally unrealistic to expect to earn over $100 per day if you're somebody who's staying with the dogs 24/7 until the owner returns. Now, this side gig doesn't have the scalability and the longevity of some of the other side gigs we've discussed today, but it is easy, and if you're somebody that loves pets and loves animals, then this is a no-brainer side gig. With that being said, you guys, I hope that you found this video entertaining and informative, and I hope that you found some good ideas that you could potentially pursue in your own side gig career. The fact is, there are so many opportunities out there for you to make money. It's just about figuring out what you want to do and then figuring out how to go about pursuing it. But your options and opportunities are literally limitless. With that being said, if you have any questions, comments, if you have anything to add, then make sure to leave a comment down below. And while you guys are at it, make sure to hit the like button, hit that subscribe button, and hit that notification bell. And I will see you guys in the next video.